Hi guys, today we're in the plant room and we're going to be repotting a bunch of houseplants. So if you guys remember a few weeks ago, I had gone to the nursery and picked out a bunch of houseplants. I brought them home and I showed you guys what I like to do with them as far as quarantining them and how I treat them before I bring them into the rest of the house and introduce them to the rest of the houseplants. If you guys didn't see that video, I went into great detail about step by step exactly what I do and what I use in order to quarantine them and get them ready to introduce to the rest of the houseplants. I will link that video in the description if you want to check it out. I highly recommend it because, again, I did go into detail about everything that I did. Well, it's been a few weeks since we did that. It's actually been a little over 3 weeks, I think, since we did that video. So these houseplants are ready to be potted up and introduced to the rest of the family. Now, I did go out and get a few more houseplants and treated them as well. So there's quite a bit more than what I showed you guys in the initial video. Like, for example, look at this thing. Is this not the cutest thing you've ever seen? This is a ponytail palm. I have never had one of these before, and I actually saw this at one of the big box stores and was like, oh, this is so cute. I have to get it. And it was the last one and it was on sale. So I was like, it's destiny, it's fate. It was meant to be. So anyways, I'm really excited to get this potted up, but we have a whole other array of plants downstairs. There's probably, I think, about a dozen that we're going to be potting up today. I brought the little ones up first so we could pot these up. These are all the snake plants or snake plants, or what is the name for it? Sansevieria. Oh my goodness. So I brought all of these along with the ponytail palm up first so we could do these. They're smaller, and these are all in like the succulent and cacti family or cacti adjacent family. They don't require a lot of water. They just need a lot of light. And so I figured we would start with these and get these done, potted up, and moved over, and then I'll bring the bigger plants up because honestly, you guys, I swear, some of those plants have put on a lot of growth in just the 3 weeks that I've had them. And so I'm so excited. I can't take it. I've been waiting for this day. Anyways, so back to the task at hand. We're going to start with our snake plants and our ponytail palm. Again, they're smaller, and we can just get these done real quick and on to the bigger ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through step by step how I repot them. It's not very involved. It's not very difficult. I'll explain to you guys what I use, what I put in the soil. Like, for example, this is the systemic houseplant insect control. I like to mix this into the soil along with Natural. Now, this is just an Old Spice bottle that I filled up with Natural, but this also helps protect against fungus gnats. I like to mix them both in the soil. That way we've got the systemic protection for spider mites, mealybugs, all that stuff. And then we also have the Natural for protection against fungus gnats and larvae. And it's just an extra 1-2 punch that I like to do. I did it a little, did I do it? No, I didn't do it when I quarantined. I just treated them with insecticidal soap and the Natural when I watered them in. And you know what? I think there's a couple that still got a couple fungus gnats just from opening and closing the back door. So, you know, it happens. But anyways, so what I'm going to be using as far as soil, because these don't require a lot of water, they hold on to a lot of water in their leaves, I'm going to be using a cactus and succulent mix. It is different than potting mix because it drains a lot faster and it doesn't hold on to too much water, because these like to get their water and then they want the rest of it to drain out. And especially with like snake plants and our ponytail palm, they hold all their water. The snake plants hold all their water in their leaves, and the ponytail palm, let me move this over. The ponytail palm holds all of its water storage in its trunk. So for all of these that we're going to be potting up first, when you water them, you want to water them, get the entire root ball soaked and drenched, and let all of it drain out. And then you don't have to water it again until it's almost 100% dry. Or unless you start to see signs that it does need a little water, then give it another little drink of water. But these are so easy to take care of. and they're just beautiful. Now they do like bright indirect light as well. So if you have a spot that gets bright light or near a window or in a bright room, they should do just fine. So with all that being said, let's get potting. I'm going to do a little rearranging over here first. Ponytail palm over here, the bigger snake plants over here, and we'll start with our little ones first. Aren't these just gorgeous? Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? I love this variegated color. It's a lot different than this. These are beautiful too. They're all beautiful. Okay, so for the 3 variegated smaller snake plants, I've got these terracotta pots. Look at these. Can you guys see that? Look at the coloring on that. I thought that would be perfect. So last summer, I went to a nursery that was actually closing down, and they gave me the rest of their stock of these pots for free. It was only 7 of them, but I was like, free pots? Perfect. But I thought if we put this in there, ooh, doesn't that look good? I think the darkness of the pot against the brightness of the plant, I think it just kind of pops. Look at that. Anyway, so for these 3, we're going to use these pots. The only thing, I just have to get this label off of them. And I'm probably just going to do that later because I don't know why they stick the labels on the side of the pot. I wish they would put them on the bottom because it's really difficult. I tried with the blow dryer and that did not do it. So Mo's really good at this, so I'll get him to do it. Anyway, so let's get potting up. So I'm going to put on my glove because I like to have one clean hand and one dirty one. First things first, let's make some room. I'm going to put a little bit of soil in here. This is yeah, I thought there was too much soil in here. Okay, I'm going to dump this. Okay. Okie dokie. So I can't use the container for a mold, so we're just going to do it old school. Okay, now I'm just going to add some of my systemic insect control. I don't really measure it, I just kind of eyeball it, and some natural. Okay, let's get our little pot over here. Look at those roots. Oh. It helps to make a well. Let's get this all mixed in first. Now I'm just going to take the soil and just press it against the sides, kind of creating a little well for our root ball to rest in. Can you see that? Soil's a little dry. And I'm not going to pre-moisten the cactus soil. I kind of like to have it a little bit on the drier side and then just drench it during its first initial watering. Okay. So for this one, you can see that it's kind of growing a little bit at an angle. So I'm going to tip the root ball a little. So the crown of the plant is pointing upwards. It will self-correct itself if I were to put it in just straight in the way the root ball is, but I kind of want to give it a little extra hand. Okay. We've got that in there. And I have just recently discovered that a Lazy Susan, when you're potting up plants, is so helpful. So now I'm just going to tamp in the soil around the root ball. Just want to make sure that all the roots are covered. and it's nice and snug in there, but I don't want to smash the soil down because I don't want the soil to become compressed. Okay, I think I need a little bit more. And I'm gonna make a mess, but who cares? I like to play in the dirt. And I've left about, for this, I've left about 3/4 of an inch or an inch of soil below the rim right here because I'm not 100% sure if I want to top dress this with some rocks or anything. I kind of like the way that it looks, the brightness of the plant, the dark of the soil, and the color of the pot. I think they all kind of work together. So I don't know, but I figured I'd give myself a little bit of room just in case. Okay. 1 down, 5 to go. All right, I'm going to set this over here. You know what? I'm going to set these right under the grow lights for now. Okay, so now I'm just going to do the rest of them. I don't know about you guys, but for me, there's just something a little therapeutic about just being in your space, nice and quiet, and just hands in the soil, repotting. Ah, doesn't that look so good? And if I didn't mention it before, I'm not repotting these in something super huge. I'm just going up, if you can see, I'm just going up in pot size, probably for these about an inch, inch and a half, and that's more than enough. Snake plants, they like to be a little bit root bound, a little snug in their containers, so they could actually sit in here for quite a few years. We'll just check them like once every year and just see how they're doing. Ooh, look at that root system. Isn't that amazing? Now let's get our ponytail palm potted up. So for this one, we got this terracotta pot. Yeah, it's only going up in size about an inch. And I think that's going to be perfect too because it's got more than enough soil in here for its roots to stretch out. And they grow very slow, especially when they're house plants, because these can actually grow in the ground in like more warm climates like zones 9 and 10, Florida, and they can get like, I want to say, did I hear like 10 to 12 feet tall? I'll have to double check that, but they can get pretty big. And if you do pot these up if you do keep repotting these up as they grow into bigger pots, these as houseplants can get taller too. So I think it would be kind of cool to kind of experiment, but that's years down the line. Okay, let's get some soil in here. God, this soil is dry. Oof. This is kind of difficult trying to figure out how to get it like completely straight. So it's kind of like It all depends on which way you look at it. So I'm trying to get it as straight as I can. Hi. I'm trying to get it as straight as I can so I don't have to look at it like this. Okay, I think that's good. Now for this, I'm just putting a little light layer of soil on the top because I want to cover some of those roots, those surface roots that were exposed, because it was just, I think this pot was a little too small, but I'm not putting soil all the way up the trunk. I don't want the, here, I don't want the trunk staying wet. Kind of like when you're mulching a tree, you want to keep the soil, you want to keep the mulch a few inches away from the base of the tree. So now I'm just going to press this in a little bit and just make sure it's snug, because this needs to get nice and snug in here. It's going to be in here for a while. I think that looks good. I think it looks straight. I feel like I could fuss with this all day. Okay, I need to get a saucer for this. It's probably a little too big, but it'll work for now. Okay. All right, guys, I am going to get this area cleaned up. I'm going to bring the other set of plants up here, and then we'll start potting those up. And then once we're done with everything, we'll take one final look at everything, and I'll kind of walk through most of the plants, because some of them I'm familiar with, some of them not so much. Just because I haven't had them, not like they're rare or anything. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're ready to pot up the larger house plants, and I'm going to be switching soil from the cactus mix to the regular potting mix. I have noticed with the philodendrons and the ficus that they've been actually wanting a lot more water than I thought, and I think it's because we're in winter now, and inside we've got the heat running, and it's a very dry heat. The air is dry. Even though I have a couple humidifiers running, the soil is tending to dry out a lot faster, which is why I'm not going to remove any of the soil from the roots. Normally, I like to remove some of the soil because it's a lot more moisture retentive, because these do come from a grower and it's a different kind of soil. But because the soil, I've already treated it, it's gotten its natural, and because these are wanting a little bit more water, I'm just going to add some more fresh potting soil to the container and plop these right in. But I think in the summertime, we may probably just slow down on the water, even though that's their active growing cycle. We are a little bit more humid in the summertime here because we have a lot of humidity outside. We do run the air and it does dry it out a little bit, but the humidity actually stays around 50–55% on its own during the summer. In the wintertime, it can drop down to like 25–30, and that is just way too dry. It's too dry for me. It's got to be too dry for these tropical plants. So same thing as the previous planting. Can't even talk. I'm going to repot these, and then I'm going to line everything up and give you guys a quick little tour of everything. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add the systemic houseplant insect control, some natural potting soil, and we'll get all of these potted up. Okay, I just need to reorganize here. This is my little bin, my little tub of potting soil. It's a lot easier to have this than a big, huge bag up here in the plant room because it's a really tiny room. It's not that big, but it's also got a closable lid, so it will keep fungus gnats out. Better be. Okay. Huh? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. No, you're good. All right, guys. Mo needs a little bit of help outside with the Jeep. So I'm going to go help him real quick, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. I had to help Mo bleed his brakes. He's been out there working on the Jeep this morning. So I brought up a fresh bag of potting soil. I thought I saw something flying around in the bin, so I just shut it and brought it outside. I'm going to discard it. I don't want to take any chances. So back to potting. Here we go with our fresh bag of soil. And now we just water them all in. All right, you guys, they're all potted up. They're all watered in. Don't they look so much better? Oh my gosh, look how tall some of these are. Like especially this one, this ficus, it looks like it's gonna hit the fan. But they look so, so good in their new containers. I am so happy. So let's go over a couple of these real quick. So I've got a couple tags here. So this one over here, this is a variegated ficus. This is the Cling On Over the Edge Ficus Benjamina. And I absolutely love this. You guys know I have an affinity for variegated plants, but look at this. So the leaves have like a green, a dark green center with like a very light chartreusey kind of cream variegation or margin all around. And it's just a very delicate leaf structure here, not like your Ficus elasticas that look, you know, the rubber tree plants. This just looks so airy and I just love it. It's so pretty. And some of these from a distance, the way it catches the light, they look yellow, kind of a little yellow. So I really like that. And then right behind it, we have another ficus. This is the Cling On Danielle. And this one is just a dark green ficus. Same leaf structure as the Over the Edge, but just a bold, beautiful, deep, dark green. Looks beautiful. Right behind it, or right next to it, we have another ficus. We have the Chromoteneki Ficus elastica. We have two of these, one here, and then we've got the really big one over here. And look at the leaves over this. Kind of like a pale green with a lot of like creamy white mixed in and a little bit darker green too. It almost looks kind of like camo, like camouflage. Really, really beautiful. Big leaves. Look at the size of these leaves. They're just huge. And then in between we have our ponytail palm, which is just sitting here drinking up some water. But this is just going to be, this is like my new little friend. It's so pretty, just so frilly and wild. Kind of like me when I'm having a bad hair day. And then right over here we have the Prismacolor Rojo Congo Philodendron Hybrid. This is beautiful. Let me come around here a little more. Let me get away from the light. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Big, beautiful, dark green leaves and these bright red burgundy stems. Look at that. And then this is a new leaf that just unfurled and it comes out with kind of like a shiny green, but underneath It's got a little bit of like an orangey bronze. So it's a multi-tone leaf when it comes out, and it's just striking. But the stems are what really get me. Look at that. Look how red they are. So, so pretty. And then right in the front row, we've got all of our Sansevieras in a wide array of terracotta pots. Everything again is all watered in. And I did add a little bit of natural to the water as well. I do that all the time because I want to make sure we don't have any fungus gnats anywhere. And as hard as I try, I still end up with a few, but overall, here they are again. Oh, so pretty. I gotta get some room over here. All right, you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun just sitting up here, nice and quiet, peaceful, hands in the soil, just repotting all of these. And now I gotta find a place to put them all. So that'll be my next job. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments or tips about any of these plants, leave a comment in the comment section below, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.